My life a story, I'm trying to find the glory. Got them all sleeping on me, my haters out here dying, snoring. Why they mad that I'm finally growing, and they seeing me fighting for it. What they wanna get involved for, I kill them all off until I'm enormous. Cause 9 to 5 is boring, grinding 5 in the morning. I'd rather make music, get paid for it, die with a fortune. And my ride is for it, every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know, for this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now, give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all, y'all. Just being honest, they don't wanna see me honest. I'm taking over this game now and that's a promise. Stay out of pocket, they don't wanna believe I got it. Give me that crown now cause I'm the king, call me your highness. This life a movie, I'm a motherfucking star like Clooney. From dusk till dawn, I'm a loose sleep. I ain't tryna live broke like you be. I been coming for the bag, I do me. Will I get paid? Absolutely. Cause you better knew a boss like Takeoff. I ain't left all bad and bougie. Heard them talk, they barely knew me. I ain't let no stranger fool me. When I came in the game, y'all showing that fake love. I ain't look past your jewelry. Now this ride is foreign. Every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know. For this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now. Give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all, y'all. Just being honest, they don't wanna see me honest. I'm taking over this game now and that's a promise. Stay out of pocket, they don't wanna believe I got it. Give me that crown now cause I'm the king, call me your highness.
What is going on? Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Otter Gang. We're getting dumped on right now, but we have a special guest. Holy smokes, Batman, we're getting dumped on. What is going on here, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Otter Gang. Let's jump into the charts really quickly here. We got a special guest. Why don't we all welcome Tradefly to the crypto show today, this morning. Welcome, Tradefly. How's it going, man? Good to see you.
It is going good, man. I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate you having me on today. And I'm excited to hit up some charts with you, man.
Yeah,
Man,
this is going to
drink a
be
little coffee.
awesome. We are getting absolutely dumped on right now. Holy smokes. We just got some data coming out. Retail sales. Retail sales just came out as we're speaking.
Really?
I kind of overlooked this, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It
I've overlooked
does
this.
drop at about 5:30, huh? So that's kind of the
This
normal.
is
But
wild. So we got retail sales month over month coming in just now at 0.3. Forecast was negative 0.1, so it came in hot, much hotter. Christmas is early. Bitcoin's getting dumped on. Holy smokes! What a move! What a move!
that is interesting.
That is
I
very
really-
interesting.
I didn't really think that would have that much effect, to be honest with you. Let's
No,
see.
me neither. Like I don't think I've seen retail sales have this much effect on price action ever.
No, I mean, like, the news yesterday was the big news.
Yes.
Like, they're basically saying, "Hey, we're done here," and now all of a sudden we're getting dumped on for retail sales. That is wild.
That is wild. I don't know if anyone was in any longs. Like we have trade setups this morning, but we might need to restart, reset
I
every.
got I gotta go back and fix my charts.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
alright, that's
Oh
alright.
man. So initially, guys, I always give you guys some trade setups. So we're gonna jump into the trade setups, and we're gonna cover some news, guys. And then we're gonna. It was the unemployment claims, says Jonathan Schaefer. So we're
Okay.
gonna have to see. But initially, these trade setups. Okay, so we're looking for a swing failure pattern up top to come and grab some liquidity. That didn't happen. We could always still go up here. We do have a daily and a naked point of control up here that we could look to come and grab. However, we have been dumped on, man. Holy smokes. So that was our initial trade setup. We're looking for just price to continue to work its way up after all that bullish news. And it looks like they just went and stopped hunting a lot of longs. That's for dang sure. And then
Yeah.
and then we have oh, that would have worked, but we would have been stopped out. So, so let's get risk management looks something like this where you have a 1-to-1 trade. You could have we have a point of control down here. Want to see a liquidity grab down below before heading back up. So this is your liquidity grab. We do have a point of control right here at around 1,900. Look for this 42,000 to hold. That's what I would think in order to continue our way upwards. So that's kind of what I've got this morning, but this is interesting already, man. Look at the dump we just got.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, so I mean, the thing that's still in play though is there is a trend line that's going up and right now. So it was acting as resistance, but now it still seems that it's acting as support, right? So that's still in play. And then it kind of lines up. So I have on my chart is the 0.382.
You want me to
So it
switch over to you?
yeah, if you want to switch over.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it did not work. Sorry about that, guys. I think we're having technical difficulties here. I swapped, and now he's gone. I don't know what's happened here. I think he might have been disconnected, but this is a massive dump. So we'll see if we can fix this technical issue right now. Maybe it's the Streamlabs. Maybe it's something on my end. I'll have to double check here. He said I looked frozen. So we'll try to correct this. But for now, we got the massive dump coming in. I'm not sure what just happened. You guys can hear me. He got liquidated because of the drop. Oh man. Send in that invite link again. So we're gonna have to go and send the invite link again. That's funny. Okay, we got you back up on the screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can
Okay,
you hear
we're
me?
good there. Oh man.
Trons, dude.
And then we're gonna swipe over to your screen now. There we
Right on.
go.
Are we
My
back in
God,
the
we're
fight?
back in the fight, man. We're
Let's
back in.
go.
That's a
All
tough
right.
chin.
Unreal. Right
Unreal.
on. Yeah. All right. So back to what I was talking about. So two things in play right now. Looking at the Fibonacci retracement, you have the 382. Very, very simple, just coming up to the low from the high. And then I have this trend line that's going up and right. Okay. So it was resistance, and now we're finding support there. So all in all, not a real big deal. We're not doing anything more than setting a higher low. So the trend right now is still up and right, even though we got that initial little dump. I wouldn't be too freaked out by it because we're still kind of ranging in an area that I would expect to be in. And that's just a very simple like overview look at things without getting too far in the weeds. So anywhere in that area between 43,000 and about 40,000, I'd say healthy and not really a big deal. You see a lot on news, and we haven't seen it as much lately. Is that you'll get those quick wicks and just those instant reactions to whatever data comes out, and then the market settles out during the rest of the day. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
so true. Like we always talk about that too whenever there's like a news event, and this was not expected at all.
nah,
However, yeah, you get like I think there's always two moves. So there's the initial move, then the fake out, and then the continuation of the initial move. So there's always like I find three moves, but like you said, recently we haven't really had that massive, like scammy wick like we just
yeah,
experienced right now off of
yeah.
something that's like off the back of Jerome Powell and his big news. So
The best thing we could have him say yesterday like happened. Like they basically said, "We're done. Like we're done here.
yeah,
Good
and
job."
and then they do this.
Yeah, it's hey, this is all gonna change anyways. You got the holiday sales and Christmas and all that. So
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
that might be more important to be honest with you. When they go back and they look at that data for the holidays, be like, how do we do? And if they see that sales are down, then okay, now we might take that in consideration. But
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not. Yeah.
Just looking at the chat here, guys. Let's smash that like button. Everybody, it's what time is it there, Trade Fly? It's gotta be. What time is
Oh,
it?
it's 5:38.
It's 5:30 in the morning. This man reached out to me. Let's smash the like buttons for Trade Fly. If you don't follow him already, make sure to go over and check out his YouTube. We'll link that in the Discord, all that good stuff. I mean, this guy, great guy, reached out to me, and ever since we've connected, he was on Billy Goat Tales, did a great job there about habits, and you know, I love hearing you talk. I love your story. It's an honor to have you. I think I'm very grateful that you've reached out to me and joined us on the community, right? Because as Piper always says, who kind of is like the middleman.
Yeah.
He's the middleman. Because you do go on Piper's show as well with OC. Is that knowledge is profit. So if we can collaborate and bring the community a little bit more ideas and more knowledge and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like it's all about family, dude, and finding your people. So that's the big thing, and I'm just enjoying it now, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
told you I was rolling solo for a while, and now I just started reaching out to people, and this has been awesome.
Yeah,
Like, and
no,
I'm
it's
excited.
so cool. It's so
You,
cool to like work with like-minded people who are all trying to, grow together and work at because we always pride ourselves on being honest and kind and transparent here, and it's like, I mean, you're our kind of people. So very grateful to have you on this screen.
nah,
So we're gonna go over to Pow here. Breaking. Okay, we got some news, but we got to talk about this guy, don't we? Right? Like breaking, highly anticipated Fed interest rate decision announced. Here's the reaction of Bitcoin. So the reaction of Bitcoin was to initially pump. Um, the the dollar index, I think it's showing here. So I think you're going to go over the dollar index today in the S&P, because we're getting really close to all-time highs. So the S&P flies off the handle, the dollar dumps, and we can now see that most Fed decisions predict rate cut in 2024. A 75 basis point interest rate cut is anticipated in 2024, so that could be bullish. But they say that cuts can dump the market, so that's an interesting thing as well. And this was a pretty bullish talk he gave. He sounded dovish. Like we streamed it
yeah, yeah,
yesterday, and he sounded completely dovish in my opinion. What are your
yeah,
takes on that? And we can go over to your screen. Maybe
yeah.
you can go over the Dixie and
I brought up my funny one here. So yeah, dude, I mean, like you said, and we've kind of already talked about it. Like it was the best case scenario in terms of what he was going to come out and say. And there's a lot of times where we get the metrics, and then he comes on and it's like he's waffling.
yeah,
Like, and I didn't get that feeling yesterday. So I think that they're going to be done with the rate hikes for now. I don't really, unless some weird data comes out or something unexpected happens,
Yeah.
then, that's the only reason I'm going to see them start taking a different approach. But for now, things are trending in the right direction. And a lot of people talked about that soft landing.
Mm.
That that might be a thing. It might actually have happened. And, give the Fed a little credit. I know we don't typically like to do that in the US, but they did what they were supposed to do. Now bringing it down to 2% is going to be tough.
Yeah,
So,
getting down to that, that they said, I don't know how many times he said sticky yesterday, and then he said stickier, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm done.
yeah.
He's like, this is sticky, and then that is even stickier.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough
it
situation,
is a
man.
tough job, but yes, I do commend him for the job he's done. In Canada, we can be nice to people, so we we'll be like, okay, Jerome, you've done a good job because our in Canada, our economy is absolutely in shambles right now. We're in recession, and we're in this housing bubble that's absolutely like you're paying for a
Ah,
shack, like a two-bedroom shack in Toronto. You're paying like 2.5 million, which is
jeez.
insane. It's
That's
insane.
wild.
It's 15 feet wide by 90 feet long, and you're paying 2.5 million, right? It's
Sounds like California. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
So if you want to jump into the charts on the
Yeah, man.
Dixie, that would be great, man.
Cool. Let's see. The first thing I do have up is the heat map.
Oh
So
yeah. So
yeah, that's
so I
one of
don't
the
use this as much. So let me know how you use this.
yeah. So really, what you can look at here, you just kind of look at the hot spots on the map, right? And so this area right here was, you could see that a lot of people have, long positions or leveraged positions. And a lot of times your price is looking to find the liquidity, right? So that's kind of why people do these heat maps. And what you could see, and I kind of talked about this on Piper's show too, is that this area right here, you could kind of expect the price to hunt for it a little bit. And it did, right? So it came down and it cleared out that liquidity. So now you see it's kind of dark, right? You see these
Okay.
dark areas?
Yeah.
It basically frees up kind of price movement because at that point, like you're not, the maker's not trying to get his. So
Yes.
then you're kind of looking and to see like where can we go from here? And there's obviously a lot of people are shorting up above our local high, and that makes sense. And then of course people are longing and they've probably been staying in their longs. This is people that, played it right.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, do you get out or do you wait for it and to see what happens? And that's where people end up getting hurt sometimes. And you'll see those cascading effects too when too many people are they stay in their position. So
So that's interesting. Yeah, because then you can kind of target the brighter green areas for price to return to,
yeah,
and try to grab some
so
trades through there.
it's always just a place where I start with. I never get hung up and be like, "Oh my god, it is gonna go to this area because
Yeah.
the liquidity is there." But it's something I'm gonna keep an eye on, and something I may avoid if I'm in a position and I see price get to that point. So I may be like, you know what, I'm gonna hold off here.
That's awesome, yeah, because you can definitely build some good confluence. That like building that confluence throughout your trading idea is what it's all about, right? And
Yeah,
if you can add to that and have a starting point, I think a starting point is very important when
that's
it
it.
comes to doing some TA.
Or you wait till that stuff gets cleared out. That's
Yeah,
always a thing too.
yeah, because then you can get some more smoother price action rather than being hunted, right?
That's it, man. That's it.
Awesome.
Sweet, dude. So
So
yeah, so I got the DXY up as well. I know you want to talk about that a little bit. And two areas I'm looking at, right? And again, I'm a big proponent of horizontal lines and just trend lines in general. That's always kind of my starting point. And then I start taking into consideration some of the indicators. So just looking at it from again a top level view about 104, right? So 104, and what you do is just kind of go back and be like, hey, where was there support? Where was there resistance? You can see right here it was both support, resistance. It was support, it was resistance. Again, you could see a little area of resistance. Then it popped off, right? So that's a even further validation of like, okay, I'm looking at a good area. It comes down and then it falls through. So you see that initial support comes up and hits resistance. So like all
yes,
right, boom, boom, boom. I'm getting all these multiple touch points. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is an area I believe in. And the other thing is you can see on the dynamic reactor here for the chart prime stuff, it actually used that as resistance as well. So I talked about this probably, I don't know, a few days ago, and I was like, hey, I think we were at 104, and I was like, we're going to probably get a rejection here, and we're going to come down, and we're probably going to look for this trend line. And so I
Yes.
go back and I look, and I see multiple touch points as resistance. You can see it here, and
That's
it
a
comes
great
down.
trend line.
Yeah, so, like, now we're kinda stuck in that area, but what am I looking for, right? If it comes down to this trend line, we all know that there is a loose inverse correlation. I'm not gonna say a direct inverse, right?
Yeah.
But what does it do when it comes down and we now think that we might get a reaction off of that it might go up? Well, then we could expect Bitcoin to potentially pull back a little bit, or at least that opportunity is there. So again, it's one of those things that I look at. It's like, what do I look at first before I start getting into like setups? And it's like, okay, I'm looking at the heat map, I'm looking at the DXY, and then I might even look at the traditional markets as well, like the NASDAQ, because there is a little bit of a correlation there as well.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing. Like for me, it's like, okay, what's the trend? Like I always go for the trend on the S&P and the Dixie, and we cover that every morning. It's just like, okay, if the Dixie is trending downwards, right? Inverse correlation somewhat, so that means Bitcoin has the possibility to move upwards, right? And then if the S&P is making new highs, like it has, like, oh my god, I can't believe the pump it's at. I think it's like 14% or something wild like that. And look, Piper's in the chat. What's going on,
Are they
Piper?
are they talking about us being twin brothers?
Yeah,
Or
they're
are they
talking
talking about
about
someone else? Like,
we're
what's
twins.
what's happening
Dave
there?
Digital is saying it's a first date, no Dixie pics. I mean the Otter Gang is in full force, man.
Oh
They're in
man,
full force. I love it. I
that's
didn't know
hilarious.
Alex had a twin brother. I just called upon the twin, a brother from another mother.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh man, we're we're here. It's funny because like if I go over to my Dixie chart just quickly here, we can see that yeah, we are pushing down, and I have the exact same trend line here as well.
And we didn't
The
talk about it.
and we didn't talk about it. We're just twinning naturally,
Yeah.
okay? So you can see we're making a low here. So yeah, you see the push through and the retest. Um, but for me, what's interesting is that, yeah, we had that massive push of people holding dollars, right? People holding dollars and people getting rid of dollars. That's how I like to look at it. But when we zoom out, like on a broader scale, like I always go back to this idea where I can see that the dollar typically was under 100 for so long. Like this stretch here, like look how long this was for the dollar being under that 100 mark. So that psychological cross, if we come down below it, because we did tap on it a couple times here, where we can look to cross over. So as we creep towards that area, and if we fall through, that to me could be mega bullish. And I think if we cut in all these things coming up this year, we could definitely be looking for something along those lines. Where we're constantly pushing down right now. So people are holding less dollars and they're throwing it into the stock market and they're throwing it onto risk on assets. So it's very interesting to see, in my opinion, with the Dixie.
That's funny you mentioned 100 because that's my area where I'm like, this is where it could find support.
I'm going back to your
Like,
screen.
oh no, dude, I mean, it's on your screen too. Like
Okay.
I mean, at a dollar, because it was resistance for so long and because it stayed there for so long, that's where I would anticipate it to find some support. And
Yes.
think about it, we're at 102. We're not that far away.
We're not. No, we're not at all.
So that's gonna be a big consideration for me.
No, let's go over to the S&P. We got something to talk about here. Oh my god. So the
Yeah,
S&P, we have blasted off. Like we are, I think it's 2% away from all-time highs.
we're darn close. I can measure it out
Yeah,
right now, actually.
2.2. Wow. Wow. So what is your take
Yeah.
on this? Because like we're blasting off here. We are creating gaps all the way up here. Is this sustainable? Is it, like we'll go over to your
I,
screen.
I don't I don't know how we're this high right now, to
Doesn't
be
make any
honest with you.
sense to me.
It's I am struggling with that. I got to be honest. And so, the S&P, I'm cool with it because I have DCA. Like, into the S&P and to the Nasdaq. That's just where I've started in life.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like we're getting up there. So like that's never a good thing for me. Like, okay, we're getting up to all-time highs. Now you start getting a little sketch. Like you're telling me the S&P is gonna go in price discovery mode like right now? Like
Yeah.
what? Like
That is yeah, that's the thing,
it's
right? It's like, okay, so like what goes up must come down. And once you get up to those levels, like nobody's really if you're buying there, you're not getting the kind of returns that you would when you're buying low, right? So it's like it's
yeah,
always, way more risky. It's like everybody here feeling I'm not saying all you guys, but most people here, we feel the FOMO when price blasts off to 44,000. Oh, I should have bought more at 25,000. Oh, I should have bought more at 30,000, right? And it's that mindset of like when things go on sale in the stock market, nobody buys. They get worried, right? They panic, they
yeah.
sell, right? It's that inverse psychology that they always talk about.
I would say more often than not for me, like especially with trades and things get up to all-time highs, that in crypto, I've learned to like it's probably a good time to get out. Like for me personally. And like you see it over and over again. And I don't get upset anymore about missing out on large pumps, right? Like for me, I'm conservative once it gets up to an all-time high, and then if it blasts through and it comes back down for a retest, and we find support there at that all-time high or the previous all-time high, you can get back in.
Yeah.
You can, like, so for me, I'm just a little bit more conservative, and I would be a little sketch, and even looking at like the RSI from the actual all-time high till now, like it's not really trending down. Like, if we continue to get this push up to the actual, like, high,
Mm-hmm.
it's not you can't see a huge, like, divergence there in the RSI either. So, like, it's I don't know, man. Dude
It's
dude, this is one of those ones where, like, I would just probably be conservative at this point. I'm gonna continue to DCA, right? I'll
yeah.
DCA and up and down, but, like, I would not enter right here. You
Right,
couldn't pay me.
exactly, yeah. Because 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm the same, like, I have a DCA, S&P 500, Nasdaq, um, and we get charged more in Canada for Vanguard S&P. It's
Really?
weird. We get you I think in America, you guys are spoiled. You get 0.03% management fee, and we get 0.09, so you guys are already making more money than us, so that's
I
just
didn't
an
know that.
interesting, little tidbit in Canada, but yeah, we definitely DCA into that, but it's wild. It's wild to think, and even when I look over at the tech sector, like Nvidia and all these things, it's not necessarily being led, massively by the tech sector. However, if I go over to my screen right here, whoops, I got rid of you. Sorry. If I
You
go over
dropped
to
me again?
my screen, look at Coinbase, man. Oh
Oh,
man, like
I had that up. It's funny you bring up Coinbase, man. That's
no
one of the
way.
one of the charts that I had up. Yeah. There we
Like
go. Twinning.
I'm I'm going over to your screen again if you're going over to Coinbase because I don't have much TA on Coinbase, but
Yeah,
what a
so
move.
yeah. So I've been looking at Coinbase and I actually been talking about Coinbase ever since Binance got slammed. And as soon
Okay.
as they got slammed, I was like, "Oh, like we need to start looking at Coinbase like in the traditional markets." And the other thing that was kind of drawing me in was that they are going to be the custodian for BlackRock.
Mm.
And dude, that is the most bullish news like you could get. And I don't think a lot of people really talked about that. And I don't understand why. Like they're gonna really steal some market share from Binance.
Big
Now, the
time.
reason I like brought it up, one, we are at an area of resistance right now. It's clear as day. And let me bring it like so that it's a little bigger for people to see. But oh, I just moved my trend line.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
just tapping on that 150 mark right now.
Yeah. So like that's an area like again, it's one of those things like you could see this trend where it's going up and right and that would probably have been the better, especially when it broke this area right here. When it broke about 115, that's
Yep.
obviously it's a breakout. And then it came back. You can actually see like if you really look at it, and this is the weekly. So you could see that there was resistance, came down, tested that support, that's like where I'm like, oh, I'm excited now because what I love is the retest.
Yeah.
But that was probably the area to get in. Now we're at an area of resistance, so now it's like I can't be like get into
FOMO in.
Coinbase
Yeah.
because it's this isn't the spot. Like you got to wait now. Um,
Absolutely.
but I would say let's see if it breaks here, comes back down for a retest, and then goes back up, or really comes down for the retest, and we find support. That would probably be where I would start looking again for an entry.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. With that too. Yeah, like you said over here on my chart, we can see that we've come up to that key resistance. We would look for if it flips it to support with a strong hold here. That would be nice too. If we don't get that pullback, because like let's say when we get the ETF, we'll front run the ETF, right? And if it
That's
creeps
what's
up here
happening.
and it holds and then the ETF launches, I mean that's going to
This is
project us probably up to that
people
200
keep
area.
asking me. I don't know about you, like in the real world, like my friends, like why is Bitcoin, why is crypto taking off right now? And I was like, I think people are front running the ETF. I really like, I think that's it. And there's two events that I think happened, and obviously speculation. But earlier in like January of this year, I think that's when BlackRock and those institutions were getting in, and we had this initial push. And then now, I think once we had that fake news come out about the ETF, you saw it blast off. Now everybody started paying attention, and they're like, you know what? I think let's go ahead and start getting in here
Yeah.
and front run this ETF because it's gonna happen. And I think that's why we're pushing right now.
Yeah, it's massive adoption. Like I always say, like a week ago, I finally saw a Coinbase advertisement in Canada, which is like, man,
Yeah,
like our in Canada, they don't want you to have crypto. Okay, it's like
yeah.
we fund the truckers with crypto. You know
Dude,
the
it's funny. I used to VPN Canada. That
yeah.
was like my play to get into some of the exchanges.
That's incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's like lockdown. But we in Canada we also have a Bitcoin spot ETF and we also have a spot Ethereum ETF, right? So and let me tell you, the fees are are disgusting, right?
yeah.
They're
That
disgusting. Like I hold a little bit of that ETF just in my tax-free savings account, but the fees are just ridiculous. It's not it's much better to just buy off of a crypto exchange and hold it in a cold wallet. And also
yeah.
anybody who's listening, there was some FUD around Ledger yesterday about people being able to access your Ledger anyway. So make sure you're not until the news clears, like Google it until the news clears, keep your Ledger disconnected from any computer or anything like that just in
Dang,
case there's any FUD going on or people are getting scammed or I don't know what
haven't
it
heard
is,
about
but
that.
I just saw it and I always want to keep you guys safe as much as possible.
Yeah, so that's two big events for Ledger this year, huh?
Yeah, where they're offering to hold your seed phase. Like what's be your own bank, but we gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. That was that people were upset about that. They were like,
Yeah.
"Hold on, this is not why I got a cold wallet."
Yeah, I went out and bought a Trezor. I'm not gonna lie.
And we're done.
And bye. That's all I
Yeah,
needed, man.
yeah,
You point me in the right direction. Thank you, Ledger.
yeah,
Um, so if you want to pull up some charts on any alts that you're looking at, I'm just going to go over our trade setups as of yesterday, and then we can jump into some of your charts. So we had an Ethereum trade yesterday, guys. I got in long here. I told you guys yesterday, I got in long. It's been riding up nice. I've taken profits once coming up to this key level of resistance here at the value area high. Just a little bit left over in this trade, not much. I did not take the Solana trade that was given yesterday as well. Man, this wick is disgusting. I'm sorry. Man, that's just pure hunting, right? So we gave the Solana trade as well. So that was a nice little trade. And also, I like how Solana has been really respecting the TA. You can get the double bottom here, inverse head and shoulders to the upside. You can also see the breakout perfectly coming back, retesting. That's another entry point if you're looking at Solana for a trade. And then that continuation upwards as well. So Solana's been behaving nicely. Obviously, we just got this crazy wick. So that's just a news event. So, and especially with news events, guys, I never pull, I won't pull a fib off of this wick. To me, that's irrelevant. to me, I'm pulling my data off of something like this before, so I can get better confluence. I find the scam wicks, like sometimes we get the scam wicks and they blow off tops and people are pulling fibs from the top of them, and I would just go to the next actual candle close, just to just as a
Yeah,
little tip, just for when I'm pulling areas.
that makes sense.
With Bonk, I mean, massive move at Bonk. Bonk has now been listed on, I believe, I saw an article, Bonk's being listed on Coinbase.
Really?
It's back. Look at this. What do you think about this? Coinbase lists Bonk, becomes third largest meme coin. Bonk coin jumps 40% on Coinbase.
It's better
Coinbase
than seeing a
listing.
dog, man. I'm tired of these dog
You're
coins. Let's and bonk's just fun to say.
right?
Like,
Yeah, it bonks you on the head when it
yeah,
dumps, but
yeah.
uh,
It's gonna be all kinds of good articles on that one.
yeah. So bonks on Coinbase, friends. This
Maybe
is the
that'll be
revolution.
the new saying instead of like I got rogued, I got bonked.
I got
Like,
bonked. Yeah. Oh man. So bonk's flying, man. All-time highs, price discovery. Look at it go, right? So I mean, and the thing is with the meme coins, they're useless, blockchain technology, whatever, but the adoption you get from them, right? I mean,
yeah,
my boss in construction, this guy, he no clue, but he had Dogecoin. He's like, oh yeah, crypto. I got some Dogecoin. I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like, and he bought at the top. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no.
but you know what? I'm like, hold the bag. Just be patient. You might be able to sell it in a couple years, right, for a profit.
I'll tell you the dude I always feel bad for is that the Dogecoin millionaire, whatever. I don't know his actual name, but I was watching a lot of videos at that point with is it Grant or something? I can't think of his name now, but
Mm-hmm.
they literally made an entire video like trying to persuade this guy, sell your Doge, change your life. This guy's like, no, I'm holding to $1. And here we are. And
Diamond
what is
hands,
that?
right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
But
here we.
he did his portfolio just got up to $1 million again when ADA pushed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good on
88.
him.
88 is
But
flying.
yeah, it is, man. That's actually the chart that I have pulled up.
Okay, let's go and take a look at that. I'm swapping over to you.
Sweet. Cool, man. So yeah, Cardano. A lot of people are talking about that right now, and you can see that it's pushed up pretty hard. Now, I had a horizontal line of resistance, and that is at about 67 cents. And you can see it wicked off of that, or at least got an initial rejection off of that. So that's also one of the plays I like to make personally. And like if you're looking to kind of scalp or make a shorter, term play, because I don't like to be in trades overnight. That's just
I'm
personal
the
thing,
same, man. I'm the
dude.
same.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm staring at my phone all night.
Yeah.
So I'll set up these horizontal lines and I'll tie an alert to them typically. So I'll tie an alert. Once it actually hits that, I'll go in, I'll open it up and I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, what's happening on some of the indicators, and I'll try to get, further confirmation. But just give you guys a couple key areas to look at here, right? So 67 cents, that's a pretty key area because you can see it was previously resistance and there was some support and resistance. Now, this is on the weekly. So, like, these areas are probably going to be, I'd say, a little bit stronger. But just look how easy it is to really kind of recognize that, hey, this is an area I should pay attention to. And then in the next level down, you're looking at that's at about 59 cents, right? So right now, I could very much see ADA staying in this range as long as Bitcoin, doesn't make a large movement, right? Bitcoin's kind of daddy, it drives the market. And I think ADA's kind of made its move. We've seen that, that trickle down effect where Bitcoin makes a move, Ethereum makes a move, and then the altcoins tend to follow. But I always laugh at ADA because it seems to be like behind everyone. And I'm just like, everyone makes this big move, and everyone's like, "What's wrong with Cardano?" And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Here comes Cardano!" Like
Bang, the
it's making
sleeper.
its move. Yeah, it always is.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one thing that I'm always looking at. And then my mom is like kidding me. She holds a bag of Cardano.
No
She was like,
way.
"Yeah, yeah."
Let's
That
go.
I actually gave it to her for, Christmas. I was like, "You know what? Here's a Christmas present." Like, and then she was like, "Yeah." She was like, she started looking into it, and I was like, she's like, "Should I sell?" And she was like, I'm up." And I was like, "Hold on, relax. Like, we're not done here." Um,
Tradefi's mom's got diamond hands.
yeah, yeah, she's holding on, man. So if she does watch this, shout out. What's up, mom?
Hey, mom.
Yeah. But yeah, some key levels for you to look at here really are that 67 and about 59 cents. And then if it does fall through that, you still have another area to hang on to at about 52 cents. But also, if we get this push up, one of the things I want to point out is that there's not a lot of volume in here. Like if you come to the left here and you look,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of volume. And look, there's not a lot of support and resistance in this area either. So I
Mhm.
could see a very easy push up to about 77 to 78 cents. Like,
That's the one.
and yeah, so like again, if you watch, you see a breakout here, don't be scared. And
Yeah.
but like this is be an area if like you're not holding long term, you're not hodling. Hey, if you're making a short play, then I'd probably exit here on that initial rejection because I think you'll see that first, and then you kind of wait and see, take a wait and see
Mhm.
approach. That's kind of my personal strategy.
No, that totally makes sense. I agree with your levels as well. Like I've been looking at it as well. I'm just gonna swap over to my screen here. I'm the same. Like Cardano, boring, boring, boring consolidation, and then kaboom, right?
Ooh,
And a
yeah,
lot of things too. Like it definitely, a lot of things were held down by this like trudging bear market, right? So when, oopsie, wrong button. Whenever I look at Cardano, like you said, there's a clear movement up in here, all the way up to, if we punch through the 75, 77 cent area and flip that to support, like right now in the midst of it, if we go into the 4 hour, you can see that we're right there. We're making the highs. We're climbing the ladder, right? Like we climbed this ladder all the way up.
yep,
We've pushed up. We've flipped. So we continue to flip these highs, right? That's what I've noticed. Like, so I would just like keep drawing the trend line, keep looking for the push and the flip of the highs and the continuation of this uptrend. Um, but for
eh,
pullbacks, we've put in enough support here around this 55 cent area, which is actually good to see as well, because you don't want to see moves like this without kind of filling in a little bit to kind of work your way up, right? Because you want to see a
yeah.
healthy price structure, and with Cardano, we definitely know. I mean, it just rocket shipped, right? It just
That's a
rocket
steep
shipped.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um.
it's healthy, right? You gotta have some pullbacks. You gotta have some corrections. And that's really a confirmation for a lot of people just seeing that higher low, right?
Yes.
So it I don't know. I mean, I would expect a little consolidation at least in this area.
Yeah, for sure. The big one, I think, the biggest move with that gap that you were talking about, where we have no real volume, is Avalanche. Okay, so like I've been screaming this to my community forever. Like between this area, there's like three little spots that have a little bit of volume, and we're right there. Like we're right there with Avalanche. Same kind of thing. Like if we get that big push, even on Bitcoin, if we start making that push on Bitcoin or anything else, I mean, it's a 30% move. Like it's wild. So it's the same thing with Avalanche, very similar price action, because
Mhm.
Avalanche, I don't know if you do much on Avalanche, but it's definitely like got this gaming narrative kind of hype going on.
Yep.
And the narrative in crypto is everything, I believe. It's everything. Like Avalanche has just absolutely outperformed, right? Outperformed, and we were lucky enough to be grabbing Avalanche down here just around $10. So it was like pretty wild when we got that dump down. But Avalanche got beaten up a lot worse than a lot of the alts. Like if I go back to where we were getting beaten up down
Which
here, oh my
which
god,
was
it's
crazy.
it's crazy how far we have to go down.
AVAX had a lot of hype. Like when we had the bull run, like
Yeah,
AVAX was one of those like primo projects or ecosystems that people were talking about, and the gaming aspect of it, that, you'll hear me over and over again. I'm like, the first like bit of utility we're I'm gonna see in the crypto space, I think is gonna be game.
yeah,
And I'm steadfast on that. And
awesome.
Avalanche, yeah, that's one that I actually was invested in before, and obviously I got out, when
Hmm.
everything started dumping. But thank God for that because I really would have lost my butt because I had a lot of avalanche.
Oh wow.
But yeah, man, now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for a pullback. It's like it seems to be the story.
Yeah.
Is like now we had these crazy pumps. Like I need to see some kind of like pullback or correction before I can really, if I want to go like long term, get back in.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. We want to see the pullback. Like I bought a lot here. Like I bought Cardano, Matic, and Ada. I bought all on this one drop here. I was just like, screw it, I'm in. And then we had that moment that everybody was aware of where Bitcoin was kind of sideways and pushing, but alts were just dying, right? And dying. And with this move downwards, we had more of like an upwards move on Matic, on Cardano,
Mhm.
and Avalanche looked like it was gonzo. Like it looked gonzo. And then this started to happen and I'm like, "Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go," right? And like I mean,
Jeez.
how many times do you got to scroll on your screen just to get back up to price action, right?
Yeah.
Um
Rocket ship.
but yeah, there is some key levels that we have looked at as a community where we're looking for the pullback. I've made like tons of pullback videos just to try to give some people some hopium, um, because we all want those cheaper prices, and you can just go in support and resistance. And whenever I talk on those DCA videos, I always stress to allocate, and not financial advice, of course, but to allocate. Draw out your trend lines and just put some limit buy orders here and here, and make sure that you front run the supports because we do get those massive wicks like what we've been looking at is IMX quite often because there's a big IMX hype right now, right? IMX is absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
what we do see is we do see these wicks down below here where if we come back down we can see that we can actually DCA and get those drops, right? Like look what we got here. We gave this level yesterday. If you had put in a DCA here, good to go, right? So it's hard to justify buying these things at the prices they're at, but I still stress that we're early. Do you
Yeah.
believe we're early?
Yeah. No, I've literally said that I think on the last three streams I've been on. It's hard to believe. And like it depends on when you kind of got into the market too. Like that has a big influence on where you think we're at. But yes, like I totally think we're still early because we haven't had mass adoption yet and we're still getting regulations. So until we get regulations like put in place and until like these ETFs come out and make this mainstream, we're still
Mm,
early. Like there's no doubt about it. The scary part with crypto for me is not, really where we're at in the cycle of crypto itself, but what if regulations come out that we're not anticipating and they're like, you know what? We're not down with this crypto stuff. Like in the US, I could see that more so than anywhere else because they don't want the competition, but at the same time, they want to reap the rewards, right? So like
mm,
that's a massive like income for the government if they do find a way to put regulations in that they can start making money off of this, right?
yeah.
So that's my struggle, and that's why like for me I'm not real big on exchanges in terms of holding money on there. And
Yes.
I'm also like if I'm on Coinbase, the pot of money that I have on Coinbase, I talk to people about this all the time and I'm like, hey, like I day trade and I probably do a little bit of scalping, but
Yeah.
I always convert it back to USD. Now, it's more expensive to do that, and there's fees associated with that. I totally understand that. But the thing for me is that if it's in USD, that money is FDIC or it's actually federally insured
Insured.
because if you read like the terms of service, that money is actually held at different institutions. Like it's at a bank. There's like seven of them. They actually list it.
Hmm.
And so like that's how I kind of protect myself.
Yes.
Just a personal strategy, just in case something comes out or we have an FTX fiasco. But at this point, I think Coinbase is safe. I don't think anything is happening to Coinbase personally.
No, I'm totally on in line with that too. Like for us, we're insured up to 200,000 in Canadian exchanges as long as it's in Canadian dollars, right? So I'm exactly the same, and also I stress too. There was a question in our community yesterday about as a trader, how do you allocate profits? So like for me, in my ZoomX or in any of my trading accounts, I'll be trading with like let's say 5K, and then I'll have 5K in a separate account over on, so they'll have like a funding account and a contract account. So if I take a loss, let's say I go down to 4K, then I can allocate 1K over this way, right? And vice versa. And then from a hot wallet or from a cold wallet, let's say I have a losing streak and I go down to like 3K, and I'm going over here, I can allocate from that cold wallet over here back into this here. So I always try to stay as least exposed to exchanges, to any rules and regulations, because let's face it, like one of the main things they say is that you got to be prepared to lose everything in crypto, right? And that's like, I've taken that to heart because our hard-earned cash, like it's important to try and keep it. Like we're here to grow it, and it is a risky asset, blah blah blah. But it's like, how can you preserve your capital and how can you protect yourself the best, right? And that's with cold storage, hot storage, and keeping less on exchanges.
Yeah, that's a solid approach. Like I said, I just keep it in USD on Coinbase. That's kind of my on off ramp. A lot of
Yeah.
that's my main reason for an exchange besides like doing some day trading. But my bag that I keep for day trading is pretty small.
Yeah.
And so I'm not gonna shill any exchanges that I use right now. But you like Voyager. Like I lost money on Voyager, but holy moly, could I have lost so much more?
Yeah.
Um, I got scared out of it. I actually made a video because I was reading up on it and I was like, man, this is eerily similar to some of the other exchanges. And then all of a sudden, like within a week of like making that video, Voyager went down. So like I lost, I think like a few thousand,
Mm.
but I had a buddy who lost like 57,000
Wow.
and he only recovered. Yeah, he only recovered like 6 or 7. It was insane.
Jeez.
It was so bad.
Oh, that's
Um,
horrible.
crazy thing is though too, like everything now that everything's going back up, like when they paid all that stuff out, I think a lot of people got paid out in USD, especially if those coins weren't supported anymore. So like, just think, man, like if they still were able to like hold those coins through everything, they would be getting a percentage of that money, back just based on the market moving back up. So it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Absolutely. No, that's I hate hearing stuff like that. Like I I s- I actually was on FTX, man, trading, and like I
Oh,
got receipts, and FTX had pissed me off, and I moved and I moved to the UK, and my
you
missus
don't get
is
mad.
and I moved to the UK, and um I jumped on the Bybit train, man, and like I know there's a lot of friends in here who are like, Bybit, man, I miss Bybit, and I miss Bybit too, because they just I actually just got an email saying we're closing down your Bybit account because you're not a UK citizen, and
Uh,
it's like, okay, I get it, man, but just yeah, it's so important
I had
to,
to close my KuCoin, man. All that FUD was going around about KuCoin,
yeah,
like when they started getting sued by like New York, and that was a long time ago. I was like, I'm out. Like I'm done.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to get my money because I had some coin.
some bags in there, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did, man. And I was like, I gotta go. Like I'm not this is not Voyager 2.0 for me, man. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, bless
yeah,
KuCoin though. KuCoin charts are the best because they got the longest track history of the alts. Like
yeah.
if you're ever like searching up a coin or whatever, go to the KuCoin chart. That's a little trick.
So they had
Um,
leveraged tokens that I really like to play with. It was like 5x leveraged Bitcoin and Ethereum. And like
oof.
that dude, that was my jam. That was my jam, dude. Like it fit what I was doing. And speaking of that, it looks like John Schaefer said should try using Coinbase futures. I have seen that, man. But the thing, I'm a perpetual guy, and until they offer perpetual futures, I'm probably gonna steer clear. I don't like contracts. That terrifies me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Jonathan Schaefer's the man in the chair for the Discord, man. This guy's got
Oh yeah,
he's got the brain for it, you know?
eh,
I'm like, so contract expires, you bet you know, and I'm
yeah,
like, okay, makes sense. Don't know, like he helped me set up Streamlabs and everything So like,
Right on.
I mean, thank you, Schaefer. I appreciate you, brother. But
Cool, man.
what is your so I always pull up this chart, but do you have a longer term plan for Bitcoin? Like, do you have anything? I know Piper wants us to come on and give him like, okay, where do we think price prediction, where we think it's gonna go? But do
Yeah.
you have any idea of? Do you have any long term outlook on Bitcoin? What are you thinking in the near future? What do you think is gonna happen? Is the ETF by the news and the rumor, or
I
what are
mean,
your
that
thoughts?
stuff, dude. If we really knew, we'd be rich. But let's say this: the trend is up and right. So that's one thing we can have confidence in right now. Until we start seeing a lower high and some kind of indication that the market may be losing strength or is actually starting to pull back a little bit. And I guess you could argue right now we actually had that first lower high, like depending on the time frame you're on. But when it pulled back to about 40K, like that would be, I guess, your first indication that there could be maybe some weakening. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of wearing off a little bit. But yeah, dude, it's up and right now. There's no denying that. So I don't know. Let me take a look see on the weekly. But I mean, that's once the ETF gets approved, I think we're gonna actually shoot up. I don't think it's gonna be one of those things like Doge when it's on the SNL and everyone's getting hyped about that, and they're like, "Yo, we're all in. This thing is going to a dollar, 100%." I don't think that's the case. I
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a big pop. Now, that's the point is like, where do I get out? Like, and it
Mm,
depends on where we're at the time, right? So I'll start looking, at like 46 and then at 51. There's two areas there. I think 51 is going to be a super big area of resistance just based on some previous rejections and support levels.
okay.
Um, and then it's just a continuation of like going up and right. And then I'm not a big hodler, so like I'm looking for those areas, and like I will pregame, right? So if I look at something, and I say, hey, 51.8 or something like that. I'll just set something up. Like I'll set a short there
Yeah.
and like not even think twice, and I'll put a stop loss above it, and that's a beautiful thing sometimes is like I don't even have to like think about it or I don't have to like sit there and watch the charts because
Yeah.
I'll have that set up a week, 2 weeks in advance.
That's
So
cool.
doesn't always work out for me though. Sometimes we get these like parabolic moves up like we're getting like if you look at every chart right now for alts.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think really 51 8 is realistic. 46.2 is also realistic. And that's just basically going back to where I see major support and resistance levels.
Okay. I like that. No, I like that because I mean everybody, their brothers, their sisters, they're all pointing at 50K, right? 50K, 50K, 50K. And whenever someone is screaming 50K,
Psychological numbers,
right?
dude. They're a
48,
thing.
50K. You're the first one I heard say 51, so we might have to hold you on that one. Um, but yeah,
46.
man, it's
46
like
comes first.
it's wild, man. It's wild. It's a massive pump. There's a lot of FOMO, institutional adoption, ETF on the way, and then like even with the rate cuts, like I was going through my charts and I was looking at where the rate cuts were in relative to the halvings, and I was doing that last night, just going through and looking where the halvings are. And for me, anytime there was cuts was because of a crisis. So we had COVID. You can say COVID all you want on this channel. We don't care. Um, um, we had COVID. We had the 2008 housing crisis. So if you go back in history and you look at why they cut, it was to save the horror story kind of deal. So in this case, there's no real horror story. And yet
Yeah.
so
You're waiting for that event and
there's
it's just
no
not there.
it's not there. Like of course there's the world is in a bit of shambles right now, high inflation, war, all that stuff. The yearly big flu that comes around that we need to pump in all that stuff. But I mean, rate cuts, Bitcoin having ETH. We're looking at the election this year. Election years. I think Satoshi was a lot smarter than we give him. With this this planning of the happening with the U.S. elections. Like, it's pretty
Dude, he was
interesting
ahead of his time.
to see how this is all working out, right,
Yeah.
and coming to fruition.
Absolutely. That's man. Yeah, this
It's pretty
dude.
wild.
Yes, just wicked smart.
Is
Like,
there any last charts you want to share with the community before we finish up and wrap up the live stream here? Is there any little tidbits
see.
that you want to share,
What
or
was I gonna look at? Yeah, the Nasdaq.
okay, let's
So
look at
I
the
did,
Nasdaq.
yeah, right. So everything like in the traditional markets is getting up near all-time highs, and that's what I just want to point out the Nasdaq because it is literally it's almost there. So you can see the yellow line, the horizontal line that I have coming across. We're there right now. So what I would say is just it seems to be the trend of the day. Everything we're
Mm,
talking about, I'm like, we're at resistance. We're at resistance. Like, so I would say as the market as a whole, both crypto, both traditional, everything, like we seem to be at the same point. Like
yeah.
it's all kind of lining up that we're at resistance. So are we gonna get this like blow off top like for everything? Like
Mm,
it's like you just said, I'm struggling because it's like, where's the bad news? There's
yeah.
no bad news. Like, so it's like hard for me to say, like, be very, very cautious here, but we're at resistance. And traditionally speaking, I would say be very cautious here, and especially when we get up to anything that's all-time highs or even near that. So I mean, I would make a, a rational thought here of saying, hey, we're probably going to get a rejection on the Nasdaq, and it's going to fall somewhere to like 15.5, 15.8, and then maybe look for some continuation at that point. Right, I would look for it to find some support before it actually presses through that all-time high. But I don't know what's going to pull it back right now.
Mm.
Is it the retail sales? Like, what
It did
like,
something this morning, man. That was wild.
I will
Uh,
say one thing that I would keep an eye on too is everyone, like, consider that it's the end of the year.
mm,
So people are going to take their losses. They're gonna do some tax harvesting. It happens, I think, every year.
yes.
I did it myself. For the first 2 years I was in crypto. Why not?
Why
Why not
not?
tax harvest?
Yes.
So, get out, get back in, and then take the loss and claim it on your taxes to offset some other gains that you have.
Yes.
So, pay attention to that. I think you're gonna see some scammy wicks probably right at the end of the year with people doing that.
No, absolutely. No, I agree with that. It's the end of the year. Santa rally, all the good stuff is happening, and happy new year coming back down to 32K. No. And that
Oh,
would be really Christmas for us, wouldn't it?
that is,
Oh
man.
man. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to wrap it up here. It's been a pleasure. Thank you
Been
for
awesome,
all the
dude.
alpha, man. Hopefully we can get you back on again. I know it's early, but we are looking at starting an evening stream at 8 p.m. Still kind of closing off the day, so maybe we can get you in on that. It's probably around dinner time for you, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
But
man.
much
Dude,
love from
I
the
I
community,
don't
and
mind the
thank you
early
so
morning.
much for coming.
I'm an early morning guy, man. So as long as I got my coffee, we're
Yeah,
good, dude. So
that's it.
let's do it again sometime.
For sure. Thank you so much, man. And thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button on the way out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning a little bit later because I got a doctor's appointment, but I'll let you guys know in the free Discord. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Much love to every single one of you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah, yeah. Justin Diamond. My life a story. I'm trying to find the glory. Got them all sleeping on me. My haters out here dying, snoring. Why they mad that I'm finally growing? And they see me fighting for it. What they wanna get involved for? I kill them all off until I'm enormous. Cause 9 to 5 is boring. Grinding 5 in the morning. I'd rather make music, get paid for it, die with a fortune. And my ride is foreign. Every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know. For this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now. Give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all. Just being life a movie. I'm a motherfucking star like Clooney. From dusk till dawn, I'm a loose sleep. I ain't tryna live broke like you be. I've been coming for the bag, I do me. Will I get paid? Absolutely. Cause you better knew a boss like take off. I ain't left all bad and bougie. Heard them talk, they barely knew me. I ain't let no stranger fool me. When I came in the game, y'all showing that fake love. I ain't look past your jewelry. Now this ride is foreign. Every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know. For this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now. Give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all, dog. Just being honest.